Welcome back to Paradise Killer, episode 4. I wanted to mention that there was another big eye catch when you leave the Judgment Hall. However, I never noticed it, ever. I only noticed it when I went back and watched my video, because then I wasn't so hyper-focused. That giant purple glowing building. Yeah, you can see it real clearly. It's night, and you're staring straight at it half the time. But I never noticed it. Not once. I've gone inside of it, but I noticed only the ground floor. Now, the reason for that is pretty simple. I tend to hyper-focus, and I never looked at the background. In order for me to see something in the background, it has to cut across the horizon. It has to be something that disrupts the world. It has to be something that you're really not going to be able to ignore. All the rest of the time, I'm staring at my feet. I'm going, oh look, we can go over there to the left, and over there, up there, and over there to the right. Let's take a look. Because I'm constantly focused on my actual movement. How I navigate the world. That's the play of the game. More evidence of this. When I came over here, I was like, okay, so I can go up these stairs, or I could sneak around the side. Maybe I could, like, jump onto the roof somehow. But it never occurred to me to just friggin' look. Oh, look. There's a really obvious clue. But I didn't notice it. I mean, I found the clue, but I walked all around the building first. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna walk all around the building. This is K-Hax's workshop. He's someone who built the second seal. There are 4 seals that were in the way of these murders, and he built the second one. And the first one was just 2 dudes with swords. So let's go see what there is to learn. At this point, it's probably too early for you to actually learn anything about the second seal, because you probably don't understand what the heck it is. Like, even conceptually, what it might be. But you can learn that this guy had a huge crush on Crimson Acid. And that's a fairly important thing to learn, because Crimson Acid is a character in the game, and her role is kind of interesting. So this is something where learning that a character exists and is in a relationship or doing something a little bit strange like this, it really helps to ground the situation, even though the character has a goat head, and they're talking about seals and all sorts of weird stuff.
That's weird.
Yep. So the computer's going to show us how stuff gets filed. We don't care. A broken necklace with an order form. It's for Akiko. She's the Grand Marshal. She asked K-Hax to fix her necklace. Maybe this puts her at the scene of a crime? That's a bit of a stretch. How exciting! There's an unsent letter to Crimson. K-Hax is accusing her of using him to get the secret of the second holy seal. Was Crimson in a relationship with him? He says the key is missing, and he's going to tell Montserrat that Crimson took it. Why does Crimson want the key to the second holy seal? Oh gee, I wonder. A couple of days later, someone went through that second holy seal and killed a bunch of dudes. I wonder why. A very stylish little visual here.
Sure.
Lots of notes here. Scrawl and technical drawings. They're interspersed with ramblings about ascending into heaven. He seemed to think he was chosen by the gods. He talks about Crimson being his queen.
That's weird.
What was going on between them? So I really enjoy this visual here. It's obviously very Japanese inspired, but it's a tidy little workspace, and it's something that I really enjoy how simple it is. It's just 2 rooms. It's very straightforward, but it is packed with things to find. If you're an old viewer of the channel, you may remember how I was talking about Rubik's Clues and finding cool things by searching Victoria's room in Life is Strange, and how that was a very palpable experience. Well, that's exactly what we get here. It's a very simple room, but it's full of cool things to find. It looks great. There's lots of different views as you wander around. Ah, goat hair from Crimson's head. No sign of a struggle. Pop, 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 pop. Gotta be careful with those auto LODs. Look at this visual. Even if I wanted to keep ignoring something in the background, there's no way I could. This is pretty clear. They're trying to make you notice that there is a big crystal over there. And if you go and take a look, you're gonna find something to eat. Oop. More blood crystals. Now, the first time I played, I actually jumped here and went down there. We're not going to do that quite again. There's something else we're going to do first. But we are going to go over there pretty soon. It's an interesting little location, and it deserves to be at the front of a Let's Play, if you can manage it. This game is convoluted, as in there's a lot of different places, and I can't remember the exact order I visited them the first time. So we're really just going to visit everything, and I'll share my memories, but I won't remember whether I visited one place first or last. Let's go around the back. Look at this. We're back right where we were. And so when I was here the first time, I was like, okay, well, did I really do a clean did I get a clean sweep? I was like, oh no, there's something over here. Look at this. This is super cute. Look at this. But there's nothing to actually like click on here. Can I get up on the roof maybe? What can I do? And this is how I think about games. Most games discourage me from doing that. They're like, no, there's nothing on the freaking roof. Are you an idiot? This game lets you get on the roof, but not until you get an upgrade. No, you can. You can just barely sneak up there. I spent about 10 hours of this game trying to get on top of every single building with a single jump. I didn't manage it the first time through on this building. But what I did do is I managed to get around the side. Let's turn on our light. There we are. And I was like, oh, I'm so clever. Look, I found this area off to the side. Feeling really good about myself, investigating some... Oh, look, my gosh. After all of that secret muddling around off to the side of the building and going over a fence and trying to get on the roof, I found a clue. I'm so good. Oh, are you so good, Craig? Yeah, because here's the entrance. Uh-huh. You're real sharp. Anyway, let's look at this clue.
Got it.
Drag marks leading off the edge of the cliff. All of the clues are generally painted bright pink, even though that obviously isn't the case in reality. It's just because you are Lady Love Dies and everything you need to interact with is pink.
Got it. I have a bad feeling about this.
So if you aren't hyper-focused like I am, I was going this way. I was like, oh wait, that's interesting. But if you're actually intelligent and you look over here, oh, would you look at that? Yeah, that's hard to miss if you actually look the right direction. There's also stuff. So shall we go grab some stuff? Ah, crash. Now we could also go all the way up to the top of the area and look at the dead people, but we don't have enough crystals, so leave that for later. Another Way of Blood bar skit. The night is so wonderful on Paradise. It's my favorite time. The air dances. On the tip of my tongue, the taste of 1,000 possibilities. The whiskey tastes better in the late hours. You're right. Whiskey was made for the night. The closer to midnight, the better. Yeah, that one's a little impenetrable. I'm sure it means something, but I don't know. No warning whiskey, a work of stultifying incompetence that hates its drinkers. Those mean a lot. Those random things mean a lot. Now, the first time I played, I went this way. Because I naturally gravitate towards factories, not beaches. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and actually find K-Hex's final resting place. Can we get over here? Oh, not quite. It's close enough. Look, more whiskey. Don't worry, there aren't really as many of these as I'm making it seem. I'm just grabbing them in quick succession here. Sometimes the moon smiles at me. Drink your whiskey. I can feel the one in the golden city on the dark side of the grinning moon. So one of the game's background plot points is that there is a god on the far side of the moon eating the moon. I've told you before, don't talk about him. Not on this island sequence. Do not invite disaster. Drink your whiskey. Now, I don't believe that the god on the far side of the moon actually enters the game. I don't remember that happening. But it's a cool idea. A bourbon with a taste of chocolate and hazelnut. A nice whiskey to have with friends. Do keep in mind that your friends are all being monitored. That one's a little bit blunt force, but it's not too bad. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, look at this. A cactar. It's Khax. Is, never been a fan of metaphysicality. I sometimes drank with him. He was quite reserved, but opened up after a beer. Intense guy. Focused. Obsessive. What is this body telling me? Oh, let's do a corpse investigation. A classic way to do things. Open up a sub-screen with more detailed visuals. This is as gory as the game really gets, if you're wondering. It's not really full gore of any kind. It's not going to show you spilled intestines. Khax suffered a massive blow to the head. There's blood everywhere, and the skull is cracked. He was struck once, and for his sake, I hope he died immediately. Victims of attacks from the front often know the attacker, so it's probably one of the syndicate. Khax's fist is gripping something tightly. It's an ornate ring with a deep blue sapphire. Why was Khax gripping this so tightly when he died? Did this belong to the attacker? So we're piecing together some basics. This crime is not very complicated. Khax got his head bashed in, and while that was happening, he grabbed somebody's ring. So our goal is to figure out whose ring he grabbed and why.
That's strange.
Well, it's being described as gaudy, so really it can only belong to one person, and we haven't met them yet. It might be a while before we do. More loot! Look at all this loot! Loot, loot, loot! Everywhere we go! Now, if you are like me and you are a collectibles junkie, you will be aware that there is more than one way to sort of have collectibles. One approach is the Banjo-Kazooie approach, where the collectibles are just in these rows and patterns, and there's like millions and millions of identical things to pick up. Hey, pick up 85 identical notes. But this game takes a more interesting approach, and you don't have to collect a million identical things. Instead, you collect just a few things, and they're put in places that will lure you around. Just like Psychonauts, if you go into the water, you die, so I'm being careful. Here we are in the Agra fields. Well, I see a new demon over there. Shall we go talk to him? Oh, it's already been 15 minutes. We'll do the Agra fields in the next episode.